I ordered some screen printing supplies, so I thought let's unpack and see what we've got. I basically just ordered a starter kit because I've actually never screen printed before. I've done similar techniques, but not screen printing itself. So I'm very excited. I ordered an A3 size frame. And I've ordered all the primary colors. So red, yellow, blue, and white. And I should also have black. And maybe that's somewhere else. This is the paint scraper. Yeah, so here's the black. And then these are, oh no, this exploded. That's unfortunate. A light bulb. The mechanism, I'm gonna have to mount that thing to the table somehow. Let's hope these instructions are clear because I have no idea what to do with any of this. Degreaser, emulsion remover, a sponge, and a spray. A spray with a nozzle that's too big for it. Several sticks, a floodlight, and then we get to the actual frame. And here's the actual frame. It's got some basic instruction, but definitely not as complete as I had hoped. So yeah, let's see if I can make something out of this. And that's it. Otherwise it's just packing peanuts. So these are the books that I've bound so far, and the reason that I want to try screen printing is because doing this with heat press vinyl is very labor intensive. So with screen printing I can do larger volumes faster. But also an added benefit of screen printing is that it is lower waste. With heat press vinyl, every piece of vinyl is backed by plastic. So I want to reduce the amount of plastic, basically, that I produce, the amount of plastic waste. I will continue to do the titles with heat press vinyl because that's, in my opinion, the best way to put a title on a book, the most efficient way to put a title on a book. But for the designs, I'm gonna try and do screen print. I'm gonna set this up and give it a try. Hopefully I won't make a big old mess, but probably I will. All right, I've read a beginner guide to screen printing and I think I'm fully prepped to give this a go. The first thing that I need to do for the screen printing itself is to spread the emulsion, which I need to do in low light, and then it needs to dry in the dark. I'm first actually going to cut out my design on the Cricut so that I don't have to do that anymore once the emulsion has dried. So here you can see the design that I want to make loaded into the design space. And then here you see it loaded onto the mat. Now that I have the design cut, I have to weed all the parts that aren't part of the design. So that is my design. I finished my design, So now I have to spread the emulsion, and then the emulsion has to dry in the dark. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do this in a low light environment so that the emulsion doesn't harden before I apply the design to it. So I now spread the emulsion, then wait for it to dry, not harden, but dry. And then I apply the design that I just made and light it with this lamp for, I don't know for how long exactly, for 12 minutes. Okay, so this is the emulsion, and I have like a very yellow light that hopefully won't affect the emulsion. So yeah, from what I understand, I have to do it on both sides. I don't know if I have to let each side dry individually. It doesn't say so. I'm just gonna assume no. Oh gosh, here we go. Here we go. I don't know what I'm doing. Instructions tell me to put it on this side as well, but then I feel like that's not. We'll just do what we're told. And now we wait. Okay, so this has been exposed for 12 minutes, which is what it says. And it says that the development is finished when the emulsion becomes blue. So let's see if that's the case. Almost. There's still a little bit of blue, a little bit of green around the edges. So I'm gonna wait another couple minutes. I think that's probably best. Okay, it's ready, so now I have to rinse out the parts that are not exposed. I am removing the ring and rinsing. So I'm gonna let this dry now, but I can already tell that like there's just too many spots where most likely it's not gonna work. Next time I need to apply way more emulsion. But for a first attempt, you know, seems to have succeeded at least partly. So now this actually needs to dry completely again, so I will come back tomorrow, I suppose. I don't know if you can tell, but it's too transparent. I've set everything up to do my first test print. Now I don't think that it's actually going to work because I don't think I put enough emulsion onto the screen. And I think that's because I followed the instructions, but like not really understanding what it's supposed to look like, because the instruction says to spread the emulsion on both sides of the screen, but while spreading it on like the bottom side, I pressed it through a bit too hard and most of it ended up on the table. So I definitely learned my lesson there, and now I know better how it's like, what it's supposed to look like. But I still want to do the test print because who knows, maybe, you know, maybe it looks nice, maybe I like the effect of having part of the ink pressed through the screen. So yeah, we'll just give it a go and see what it's like, and then I guess start over. So this is my screen setup, so it can move up and down like this, and it will stay in place basically. I do have to tape down the paper that I eventually want to print on, but since this is just a test print, I'm not going to do that. And then I have this for the ink and the spreader to spread the ink. So yeah, let's just give it a try. Here we go. I'm just, oh, this isn't, I'm gonna do this with a, because it's really not that big of a design. So I'm just gonna see if that's enough, because it's just a test. I don't think it's gonna work. Squeegee. Hello, squeegee. The squeegee doesn't want to go. Oh boy. What am I doing wrong? Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It needs a bit more. Am I supposed to go both ways, or I feel like that's wrong. I feel like you're only supposed to go one way. I don't think this is gonna turn out very nicely. That's definitely squeezed through, but I'm pretty sure that I've caused a lot of blotching now. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. I pressed way too much through it. And also, as you can see, there's a lot of holes. So I would say my first attempt at screen printing failed pretty badly, but I do know what I did wrong. So I think next time we'll see some better results. I also have to look up some YouTube videos on how to actually scrape the paint onto the paper. I definitely think that I needed to do it in one go instead of down and back. Because there's some places where the ink is really bleeding. Otherwise, though, I like the design. I'm glad that the intricacy of it actually is visible. It's just I didn't spread my emulsion correctly. Okay, I've rinsed off the blue ink now, and now I need to put the emulsion remover on, which is this, I hope. And it says to put it on both sides of the screen with a brush, and I'll let it sit for a few minutes. Too big of a brush, but we'll make it work. So, spread the emulsion remover on both sides of the screen. And then the other side. I cleaned the screen with the stripper, and now I think I just have to wait for it to dry and then just start over. So yeah, on we go.